Sierra will start answering the questions posed by Yeshua. Apparently, he has gone back already. There were 5 questions from him. The first one, what are the causative factors which bring the mind to Vipassana Jhana from Khanika Samadhi? Second, what is the normal maximum length of time the mind dwells in Vipassana Jhana? Third, besides ceasing of the breathing process, what are other hallmarks of Vipassana Jhana? 4, of what use is Vipassana Jhana to the meditator? 5, what are the similarities and dissimilarities between Vipassana Jhana and the Jhana experience of a practitioner of Samatha Bhavana such as Metta Bhavana? Samatha Metta Bhavana, Gita Samatha Bhavana. The answer will be long. Seattle has already told to limit the number of questions. So, actually, the meaning of the questions, first question may be, what are the changes from Khanika Samadhi to Vipassana Jhana? How do they change? So Seattle has to be explaining, starting from the basics. So it will be proper for Seattle to explain from Khanika Samadhi or momentary concentration. Seattle believes that everybody already understands what is meant by samadhi. It is not other than the mind staying on its, concentrated on its subject without wandering off.
Samadhi level, Khanika Samadhi, Upachara Samadhi, so Apana Samadhi, so
there are 3 kinds of samadhi. Number 1, Khanika. 2, Upachara. 3, Apana Samadhi. Apana Samadhi.
Any dominant Khanika Samadhi to the Kanada city, Ayum Bogai, Matakana, Sustavido, 6 Japanese. Kamu Bogai, my degree job. They move Bogai, my degree job. Sustavido job. Jaja, I will Bogai, my time. The Khanika Samadhi. We eat them, give us the shoe. ကစမာဓိဖြစ်တယ်သမီးဆိုရှိနိုင်လားဟိုလည်းပဲမျိုးပြကျောင်းကြစိုက်နေတာပါကျောင်းကြစိုက်ဆိုတော့ဒီကွင်းအောင်ဒီမှတ်တဲ့စိတ်ရောက်သွားတုံးပို့ရတော့ဘုရားကြီးရဲ့တုံးရတဲ့မျိုးသုံးရရှိအောင်လို့ဒီလိုတကယ်စိတ်ကြတာဒါလည်းဒီကစမာဓိ
First, Kanika Samadhi means the mind falling on a particular moment, on a particular object from moment to moment. Now, for example, when we are noting rising, the mind may fall concentrated on this rising process for a moment. Again, when we note falling process, the mind may fall concentrated on the falling process for a moment. And this kind of momentary concentration can be gained while observing other objects. But one cannot gain this kind of momentary concentration without noting properly. It can be gained only when noting diligently. To be able to note diligently, the yogi must put effort. In other words, yogi must push his mind towards the object. Yogi must put effort. Then only yogi will be able to note diligently.
Upajjhara samadhiဆိုတာကလောကီဇာရအောင်အထုရမှာရှုပွင့်အာယုတစ်ခုခုစီစဉ်ပြီးတော့ရှုတဲ့အခါရှုရအောင်စိတ်ကလေးဆက်ခါပေါ့သူတို့မြင်မြင်စိတ်တယ်ပဲသို့တော့အပ္ပနာဇာနာကိုကြည့်လို့အပ္ပနာဇာရဲ့ရှေ့ပိုင်းမှာရှေ့ပိုင်းစံပေါ်ဒီပိုင်းဒီစံသမားလေးကိုဘုရားတဲ့သမားလေး
Upajjhara Samadhi. You choose a Lokiya object, and when you contemplate on this object, your mind falls concentrated in somewhat a continuous manner, in a stable manner. This is known as Upajjhara. But it is not still Appana Samadhi yet. Appana Samadhi yet. Upajjhara Samadhi, we can say it is a precursor of Appana Samadhi.
Appana ဆိုတာကတော့အာယုန်လေးကိုဆက်ပြီးတော့ဝင်ပြီးတော့တသားလေးဖြစ်နေတာရှုခွင့်အာယုန်နဲ့ရှုမှတ်တဲ့စိတ်တသားလေးရောက်ဖြစ်နေကြလားသိရလောက်အောင်ဆွဲကပ်ရှုဝင်ပြီးတော့တည်ပြီးတော့ငြိမ်ပြီးတော့နေတဲ့ဒီမာရီAppana Samadhiဆိုတာဒါလောကီဇာမှာလည်းရှိပါတယ်လောကုတ္တရာဇာမှာလည်းရှိပါတယ်လောကီဇာရောက်အထုတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်ကြီးဝဇ္ဇအရိဝဇ္ဇနိဖြစ်တော်တဲ့အခါဒီAppana Samadhi Appana Samadhiလည်းခေါ်တယ်လောကုတ္တရာဇာဖြစ်တဲ့အခါမှာလည်းအဲ့ဒါAppana Samadhiအဲလိုမျိုးပြောတယ်
Appana Samadhi means the mind penetrates the object and stays in the object continuously. The mind sticking on the object and becoming very stable in the object. So in this case, the noting mind and the object, they are together. This kind of Appana Samadhi can be found in Lokiya Jhana as well as Lokuttara Jhana. Now, when one gains Lokiya Jhana and when they become in the layers of Arupa and Rupa sphere, or in a formless sphere, they can have this Appana concentration. In Lokuttara Jhana, they can have this Appana concentration also.
အဲ့ဒီသမာဓိ၃မျိုးထဲမှာသူရှင်းပြတဲ့သမာဓိ၃မျိုးထဲမှာအနိကသမာဓိနဲ့ဥပ္ပဇ္ဇနသမာဓိကတော့ကာမဝဇ္ဇရကုသိုလ်စိတ်အပ္ပနာသမာဓိကတော့လောကီဆံနဲ့လောကီဆံသမာဓိနဲ့လောကုတ္တရဆံသမာဓိတွေမျိုးလို့ရတယ်
Karma Samudra, pero debe.
Samudra Sahabu, Yashuva, Yashuva, Samudra Siti, era richiesta da una rupa alta, era richiesta da una rupa Yashuva, però il fine si era Samudra Siti, metà quali Samudra Siti, Samudra Guarda la Maria della tua panaglia.
So, among these three kinds of concentration, the first two, Kanika Samadhi and Upajjhara Samadhi, they are conducive to Kama Vajra Kusala. Kama Vajra Kusala. What it means here is the practicing yogi can gain this kind of samadhi, and after gaining this kind of samadhi, they may become a being in form sphere and formless sphere. From there on, they can gain the other concentration, namely Appana concentration. In other words, this Appana Samadhi is Lokiya and Lokuttara.
Kanika Samadhi is Upajjhana Samadhi, You love Upajjhana Samadhi, Appana Samadhi, Upajjhana Samadhi, she can love the Buddha. What a day to say it young movie.
Out of these three samadhis, Kanika Samadhi can support Vipassana Jhana, and from Kanika Samadha, this can bring the yogi to Vipassana Jhana. But ordinary Upajjhara and ordinary Appana Samadhi, they are basics, only basics for Vipassana Jhana. From Upajjhara Samadhi and Appana Samadhi, Lokiya Appana Samadhi, this will not bring to Vipassana Jhana. Only the basics.
Let me be honest with you, I don't need that. Dream Tanina, I don't need that. I think that's why it's only I will forget my ချိန်လာကတရားတိုင်းပတ်သက်လို့ရှုအောင်မသိဘူးစိတ်ကြဒါခိတဲ့ပေါ်ဖြစ်တယ်အဲဒီမှာသိတဲ့အောင်ချိန်ရွယ်ပြည့်တဲ့သဘောပါတော့လိုက်သိနေချိန်ရွယ်ပြည့်တော့အတ္တမှုကလည်းပဲဒီပါးရတော့အဲဒီမှာသိတဲ့ချီးမှုဖြစ်တယ်ကိုယ်တည်းတည်းချီးမှုဖြစ်တယ်ဒီကြတာဉာဏ်နဲ့ပါလို့အဲ့တော့ဝိရကနဲ့ဝိကြာရဉာဏ်နဲ့နှမျိုးဖြစ်နေတဲ့အခါကာမိကြတာဆိုရင်မျိုးကတရားတွေဒီကျင်းလို့လို့ပြောတာဒုပါနိတိအာယကိုဒီကြည့်လို့ဆက်လာကိုသိခါတယ်အာယုပေါ်ကမှစိုက်ကြတယ်ဒီကဆိုတာလေးဒီဝါရီကိုဖြစ်တယ်အဲ့ဒါကိုလည်းဒီကပါရီဖြစ်တယ်ဒီပြောလို့ရှိရင်ဝမ်းပိုက်စိုက်ပြီးတော့ကောင်းတဲ့လာတဲ့အာယုနဲ့ရှိမှတဲ့ဒီကတဲ့အောင်ဒီရည်ကြီးကဝိတကချာနေတော့အားစိုက်ပြီးတော့ဒီရည်ကြီးချတော့ကာလမတိနဲ့ရှိတိနဲ့ဖြစ်သွားတာဝိကြရဆံနဲ့ဖြစ်သွားတယ်အဲဒီမှာဒီဝရဏတရားတွေကျင်းလာလို့ရှိရင်အသေးခွဲသိတရားကိုဒီလေးတွေကအစားဒီလေးတွေဖြစ်တယ်ကျွမ်းကျင်တဲ့ဆက်တာလို့ဖြစ်တယ်ဒီဖြစ်ရင်ဒီကြောင့်ချမ်းသာမှုကလည်းဖြစ်တယ်ဒီကဖြစ်ရင်ဒီနေမှုဆိုတာလည်းဖြစ်တယ်တရားစာပြီးတော့သင်္ကစမာရီ
To explain in practical manner the practicing yogi when they are practicing meditation, when they are doing the job, is to collect Khanika Samadhi. Yogis are practicing to aim the mind towards the object, to focus the mind and the object diligently. So when they do this, the mind, noting mind and the object, they come together. In other words, it involves right aiming. When they put effort, the mind and the object come together as if the mind is rubbing on the object. Now this involves touching. It's like touching, the mind touching the object, the mind rubbing the object. This involves Vijara Jana. Vijara means directing the mind towards the object. It also involves Vijara Jana. Vijara means touching, rubbing of the mind on the object. When this happens, Nivarana or hindrances are free. Yogis are free from hindrances. Once the yogi is free from all these nivaranas, piti, or rapture arises. From there on, sukha or bliss arises. After that, yogi is said to gain Khanika Samadhi, momentary concentration. Now to explain in a practical manner again, when you note rising, you have to direct the mind towards the rising process. This is vitak. Vitaka jhana. And when the mind reaches the object, and the what? Janega. When the mind is rubbing on the object, we have this Vijara Janeka, part of the jhana. At this moment, at this time, all the nivarana hindrances are free. When the yogi is free from hindrances, piti or rapture arises. After that, he will be having bliss, or in Pali it is known as sukha. And then yogi gains concentration. From there, yogi gains momentary concentration, moment to moment. Or we can also say, at this time, the yogi gains ekagata, one pointedness of the mind. When Kanika Samadhi becomes strong, the mind will become calm, tranquil. Only when yogi is free from nivarana or hindrances, the mind will be as if staying in apana jhana, apana concentration.
Nivarana kemu sarare lengen popola de ayung mo shukwe ayung chinga ke tiga sai bi sweme so kiti ni ma piat tan wo shuman nai ma nivarana kemu ko le chi mo ke wa.
To be free from hindrances, yogi must be able to note diligently on the object that arises urgently with aiming and focusing.
Shukwen ayunga amyo kyong ne ni ne lo bana shuma ko tati lo mo ti ti ho samari ha tata le to ni chi to ni lo to ma ni ka le se te ma se te lo ti da ma da se te te sa te o se se o ti chi te ko e lo si se mi a ti ma ni lo na ti Nivarana kema klika samari aapin biwa bhavana sai ko balo viche nite.
Yogi must be able to note in a continuous manner. How? It is like an endless stream. It must be continuous like that. The objects may be changing all the time, but the mindfulness and concentration must be there all the time. The first part of concentration, or let us say the first concentration, must be connected very closely with the next concentration. Only then we say that concentration is continuous. Only when the concentration, mindfulness and concentrations are continuous like that manner, yogi will be free from nivarana or hindrances. Only when the yogi is free from hindrances, the yogi will develop Kanika Samadhi. Now, when Kanika Samadhi becomes strong, yogi can keep his bhavana mind in a continuous manner, in a stable manner.
Kanika Samadhi, the Togi to Abi was Patama to Abi Haja. Unit and another Korea. Julia, there are young ship, whether I know now said you will see going to bring us the top the key argument down the children sets up killing near the stage of the 11 than I now said you need a Kajama. We got the money, you said that I'll be from June said, you not kissing me. People we were the Nala. What government is here, what is the don't do the unit the other. Near Macomb, the water is here. And he was in a chin. We take out the we get a Mario. We get a we got the money. We got the money. We got the
Now this Kanika Samadhi will become strong lot by lot. Now when the first lot of Kanika Samadhi becomes strong, the yogi will come to know the phenomena of Namarupa, the mind separate from the matter. But yogi still has not developed the vipassana jnana. Now, when the next lot of Kanika Samadhi becomes strong, yogi will come to know about the cause and effect factor. But it is not still a vipassana jnana. But when the Kanika Samadhi becomes strong in an extraordinary manner, the yogi will come to know that this cause and effect manner arise and disappear from moment to moment. And he will come to know that this phenomena is suffering. This phenomena is not permanent. In other words, he starts to develop vipassana jnana. Now vipassana jnana means the phenomena of Namarupa not being permanent, they are suffering and they appear and dissolve by itself. So in this practice, Vitaka, Vijara, Kanika Samadhi are involved. So when the yogi becomes strong in Kanika Samadhi, in an extraordinary manner, he develops vipassana jnana. So that is why Kanika Samadhi will support vipassana jnana, and it is conducive to vipassana jnana.
ကျွန်တော်ကြည့်လိုက်နော်ဆိုတော့ဝိပဿနာဉာဏ်ဖြစ်ဖို့ရတယ်ဒီကိစ္စတွေကြည့်ထားတာပါပဲပေါ်လာတဲ့လည်းငယ်ပေါ်လာတဲ့အာရုံကတစ်ခဏတစ်ခဏကြည့်ပြီးဉာဏ်ကြီးအောင်လုပ်ပြီးအဲ့ဒါဒီအာရုံတော်ဝိပဿနာဉာဏ်အလုံးလုံးဖြစ်လာတယ်ဒီလိုဉာဏ်ကြောင်းတွေတော့
So, in short, it can be said that to practice meditation means to gain Kanika Samadhi, which is conducive to Vipassana Jnana. When the mind becomes concentrated on an object from moment to moment, the yogi gains Kanika Samadhi. Once the yogi gains Samadhi, his practice will make him gain Vipassana Jnana.
ဒီတော့ဝိပဿနာဉာဏ်ဖြစ်လို့ယောဂီဟာဝိပဿနာဉာဏ်ဖြစ်ရေးကိုနေပြီးတော့လည်းငင်းပြစ္ဆုတ်ပံကြားကြလည်းငင်းဘူးနည်းနည်းပေါ်လာတဲ့အဲဒီပြစ္ဆုတ်ပံကြားကြဘယ်လိုတန်းဒီကကစီရဆိုပြီးတော့ဆွေးနွေးဆိုရှိတယ်ဒါပဲရှိတယ်ဒီလိုပါပေါ်ချင်းကလည်းလည်းငင်းရှိပါဒီလိုစဉ်းစားဖို့လည်းဒီဆက်မပြတဲ့ခါလေးဘယ်လိုတတ်မှတ်နေလဲဓမ္မနဲ့ဓမ္မစာခါလေးဆက်ဆက်ပြီးဒီကြောင်းကြီးရတယ်တော့နေတယ်
So if one wants to gain Vipassana Jnana, one has to note the object that arises in a very urgent manner, with aiming, focusing diligently. Then the yogi is sure to gain Vipassana Jnana. He has to do nothing else. Yogi should not be thinking about many things.
ဒါလို့စဉ်းစားမိရမကလေးတက္ကသိုလ်ရမလတ်ဖြစ်အောင်လို့ဒီလိုထားရင်ပြုလို့လာလည်းပြန်လို့ကြောင်းတာပြည်ရရတယ်သိတဲ့မရမလားလည်းအဆုပ်လောကအိပ်လို့ဆန္ဒဆန္ဒကျန်တဲ့ချိန်မှာမှတ်တည်လည်းပြောနေဒီတော့အဲ့လိုနားလည်းခါလည်းနားလည်းအားလည်းခါလည်းအားလည်းဒီလည်းခါလည်းဒီလည်းတွေ့လည်းခါလည်းတွေ့လည်းဆိုရဒီလည်းပါပြီးဖြစ်သွားဒီကတော့ဒီလိုဆိုတော့လည်းတောင်းတယ်
So yogi should be noting continuously like a string. So to be able to do that, one must be able to understand what is meant by Vipassana insight. One must cherish Vipassana insight. One must put a value, and one must practice precisely, diligently. But if one stops noting, takes rest, etc., Kanika Samadhi cannot be gained, and it is sure that this particular yogi will not gain Vipassana insight. So the yogis, except from the sleeping hours, they must be noting, contemplating on the objects that arise diligently, without fail.
တော့ကိုယ်ထိုက်ကြတယ်ဒီကိုယ်လိုက်ကြတော့ကြည့်တယ်လို့ပြဒီကြည့်တာမလို့လည်းငါတို့ဒီလိုလုပ်နေတာတော့တတ်တယ်
He has a lot of yogis come to practice for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. But many do not respect, many do not practice precisely. Why? They do not understand the benefit. They do not cherish, they do not put their value on the practice. So after staying here for a long time, they do not gain vipassana insight. Then what happens? They get bored. They want to stop practicing. They think about this, they think about that. Now the meditation teachers here are all the time instructing the yogis how to practice. But if they do not obey the instructions, it is up to them.
တော့ဒီကတော့ဥပဒနာဇန်လေးမြင်းမြတ်အကြာဆုံးစိတ်ကြီးငြိမ်နိုင်ပါလေဒါမှမဟုတ်
So Siara will go on to the next question. What is the normal maximum length of time the mind dwells in vipassana jhana?
အဲ့တော့ခုနခဏကဆိုတဲ့ကလေးဒီလိုရှင်းနေတယ်မှာဒီပါတော့ခဏတစ်စက္ကန့်လည်းငင်းပေါ်လာတဲ့အာရုံတွေပေါ့သင်္ကန်းကတရားစာကိုကျုံးရဲဆိုရှုအဲ့ဒီတော့ခဏလေးကြာအဲ့ဒါလည်းဒီစက်တိုင်းစက်ကံလည်းမှာပိုင်ရအဲ့ဒါလည်းကြာ
So Sayadaw has explained about Khanika Samadhi. So the answer to this is already explained by Sayadaw. But Sayadaw has said, when noting the objects, there must be aiming, focusing. Maybe second from second. But the duration of the Khanika Samadhi may be a fraction of a second.
The Kana Ayundi program was suicide so two the curious quality. The Kanali Jad or the Kika Samadhi, the curious quality. Mama Amishi with the smoke. Tavimelo Amishi Kika Samadhi was the two and the Pisadi, and yeah. Who cut up? Check out the country. I was one of the areas in the country. The Jarring one of the Jolly, Young, wouldn't go swear and see it. Choji that the Royal Jews are in the town and the town was who can be to see that they are. I was really children. I'm living there. Who will let him have energy going in it? And the other Julie, Julie, lady, who will let it. You must do daily. The meaning is right from your salary, which is never done, and any lady. The Nika so lonely. She like it, and now we can get it. The lady at the end of the study, who wanted it. Yeah, I always want to find it. Eddie the one with it. The Nika Samadhi, who lady, found lady. The Jersey, then the good food. That's a cook as well as I know I always want to. They are a theater. They are the theater. Then we said I was already out of that. I think.
So, the length of the Khanika Samadhi or duration of the Khanika Samadhi is just for a moment only. Because the Khanika Samadhi happens on a particular object from moment to moment. So if this duration of the Khanika Samadhi is very short, one may say that it is not strong. But if you collect all the Khanika Samadhi, in other words, one Khanika Samadhi and the next Khanika Samadhi, there is no gap. In other words, if the Khanika Samadhi become together one after another continuously, it can develop an enormous energy. Example here is, we have tiny little sticks. One stick is very weak. If you fold it, it may break. But if you put these tiny weak sticks together, collectively they become strong. So if the Khanika Samadhi are collected that way, the energy, mental energy, can become enormously strong. Now another example is, we have fibers, tiny fibers. If you pull them, they will break. But if you put this tiny weak fiber and make it into a rope, collectively they become very strong. In a similar manner, the Khanika Samadhi, a little stick of Khanika Samadhi, a little weak fiber of Khanika Samadhi, if you put them together, they become enormously strong. So if you have this kind of Khanika Samadhi, you can keep your mind on the object for very long, continuously.
Khanika Samadhi, Jaya Bhava, here the seat of the settle. Settle. Here the Ani, whether I Killa or Amazon. When I mean, the Kulik is ship. Clearly, in a Guinea. Who can it get in a Guinea? But the Yayama. I look at the people, you wouldn't not Jarama, you would not finish it, second level. I'm arguing on it. Maybe I am a kid. Yeah, it's
the yogis who are practicing here, a lot of them, in their Khanika Samadhi fibers are not together. Among these Khanika Samadhi fibers, there are a lot of gaps. The first concentration and second concentration are not connected. So the energy becomes very weak. Therefore, they cannot develop Vipassana insight. And after that, what happens is, they become bored. Because the strength of Vipassana, the strength of Khanika Samadhi becomes scattered with lots of gaps inside. If there are gaps in noting, Nivarana or hindrances will arise. So to prevent this nivarana from arising, yogi must be noting every second without fail. Then only he can develop energy. But most of the yogis, a lot of the yogis are not doing that. Therefore, they cannot develop insight even after practicing for a long time. They become bored and they stop the meditation and they go away.
ဒီတော့အမှတ်3ဥစ္စာကဘာလဲဆိုဥပဒနာဇာရင်အကြောင်းအရာအရာအနဲ့ဒီရှုမှုရဆဲသွားခြင်းမှတပါအကြောင်းအရာပါရီပါလဲဒါပါဆိုကြတယ်
မရှိတော့ပါဘူး။ဒါမရှိတော့ပါဘူး
လည်းရှိတယ်
။ဒါပဲ
အဲ့ဒါဘာမင်းမမသိဘူး
This third question, besides ceasing of the breathing process, what are the hallmarks of vipassana jnana? The shadow is not clear about this question. But unfortunately, Mr. Yeshua is not here anymore.
ဒီဝတ္တနာဇာရဲ့အာယုဟာဘုံပေလို့တော့ကလေးဝင်ဒီမှာတပါအာယုရှုစရာရှိပါသေးသလားဆိုတာမျိုးလေးတာလားအဲ့လိုဆိုကြတယ်ပြော
Seattle thinks that to gain vipassana jnana, are there other objects to be contemplated apart from rising, falling, etc.?
အဲ့ဒီသဘောမျိုးနေတယ်ဆိုလို့ရှိရင်တော့